So I've been using Adobe Premiere Pro since 2015, but late last year I've switched to DaVinci Resolve, and in this video I will tell you why, and maybe you will switch too. Let's start. Hey everyone, my name is mariuszgajdzik. I'm a filmmaker and photographer based in Poland, and together with my girlfriend Martyna, I run a company called Slick Visuals where we produce photo and video content for our clients. And firstly, I'm gonna tell you what's my background. I mainly produce content for my clients, which are businesses. Usually it's a short form content like Instagram content, Facebook content, website content, and that kind of things. And that's where my perspective is coming from. So now that you know that, let me jump into the reasons why I switched to DaVinci Resolve from Premiere Pro. First one, and the obvious one, is stability of the program. And I've been struggling with that for so long with Premiere Pro. I've been working with Premiere Pro on my MacBook Pro from 2018, and it's been crashing all the time. All the time it's been crashing. I've probably wasted so much time just for these crashes and not saved projects from these crashes. So basically how it worked, I was making my edit, I was doing my edit, and then the Premiere Pro crashed. And you've seen memes about Premiere Pro crashing, and if you work in it, you know it does. So yeah, it was crashing for me too. So that was a reason why I started looking for something else in the first place, and that was the reasons I looked into Final Cut, and I tried Final Cut, but I didn't like it too much because I don't know, it just felt too simple. I just felt like it's too simple of a program, and I just didn't fall in love with it, if I can say so. So I started looking even further, and I looked at DaVinci Resolve, and it was very convenient that it had free version that I could download and work on and not be limited by trial of 30 days or 15 days or 90 days. I think it's on Final Cut now. I can just use it, and I can decide if I want to use free version or if I want to use the studio version. And I was like, I'm using that free program and it doesn't crash, and the program that I'm paying for so much, it crashes all the time, and another version comes out and it still crashes, and another one and it still crashes. So I was like, what the hell, I'm paying this much money, everybody is paying this much money, and it just doesn't work, it's crashing all the time. So that was one of the first reasons why I switched to DaVinci Resolve, because when I started using it, I've seen it wasn't crashing that much, and I'm working on it since late last year, and it still doesn't really crash on me. It crashes really rarely, and if it does, the project is usually saved. I have autosave when the program is closing, so even when the program is crashing, it still saves the project, and I love it. So that was the first reason. And the second reason I've mentioned already is the price. You can have DaVinci Resolve for free, where in Adobe Premiere Pro you need to pay at least, I think, 20 euros just to have Adobe Premiere Pro. And then you only have Adobe Premiere Pro, you don't have anything else from Adobe. But if you want to have all the Adobe programs, I think that's a little bit better to have. It's 50 euros. About 50 euros you need to pay for the entire Adobe Creative Cloud suite. So that was the amount I was paying since 2015 up to 2021, I think, so probably 6 years. You can calculate how much I paid within these years for this program. That was crashing on me. It wasn't working properly. It was crashing all the time. And it was costing me a lot of money. And when I decided to get the studio version of DaVinci Resolve, it had a really good deal where I could get the speed editor with the studio version for about $300, I think. So I went with that because I wanted to have that, because you can either have the DaVinci Resolve Studio by itself, that time you could have that, or you could get this for the price of the Studio. So that was a no-brainer for me because I really wanted to buy DaVinci Resolve Studio, and I got this speed editor basically for free because I would pay $300 anyway. That deal is over, unfortunately, but you should probably see if you can find some other deals if you're planning on buying DaVinci Resolve Studio. So as you can see, that's not that much, $300. I'm not sure how many euros is that gonna be, probably gonna pop it out somewhere on the screen. So this is how much you need to pay for the DaVinci Resolve Studio, and you get that, I got that for free. And the best thing about that is that if you buy DaVinci Resolve 16, you get free upgrade to DaVinci Resolve 17 and 10 to 18 and then 19 and 20 probably, I'm not sure. But I went with I think 16 or 17, and now I'm working on 18 beta. So yeah, you basically pay once $300, about $300, and you get lifetime license to the DaVinci Resolve Studio. So it's a much better deal. And now we have all that money that we're saving on the Adobe Creative Cloud. We can spend it on lenses, we can spend it on other things that are gonna make our videos actually better. The third thing is the UI. I prefer the DaVinci Resolve UI much better. It seems much cleaner for me, much more modern. The Premiere Pro seems more old school, and for some people that might work. I like to work in a program that looks nice, that feels nice, that seems intuitive, that if I want to find something, it's easy to find it. And I feel like DaVinci Resolve, it's easier to work in. But it's not easy, it's easier. So if you're new, if you wanna start, I'm thinking you're gonna be much more comfortable in DaVinci Resolve than in Premiere Pro. But even after using Premiere Pro for so many years, I still find that when I downloaded DaVinci Resolve, I was able to work in it right away. It was very intuitive, and I didn't have a problem with finding things. Well, obviously I had to get used to it a little bit, but it just, I don't know, I just like how the UI works and how it's set up, and it just seemed much more cleaner than the Premiere Pro for me. So for me, the UI of the DaVinci Resolve, it's nicer than the UI of the Premiere Pro. And the next thing is functions, and there's two functions that I found much better in DaVinci Resolve, and I hate doing speed ramping in Premiere Pro. I used to hate to do it. I just didn't do it because I hate it in my own videos, and when I had to do it for a client, I just hate how it's done. I've seen it in Final Cut, I've seen it in DaVinci Resolve, and I've seen it in Premiere Pro. And in my opinion, in Premiere Pro, it's the worst way on how to do speed ramping. I love the Final Cut version. I wish it was in DaVinci Resolve exactly the same, but it's almost the same. It's almost the same, and that's why I like it. And I find it much more intuitive to work in speed ramping this way. And there's many other functions that are built into the DaVinci Resolve which aren't in Premiere Pro. For example, denoising. In Premiere Pro, you're gonna have to install a plugin to do the denoising, and in DaVinci Resolve, you have, obviously in the studio version, you have that option already built in, and you have that tools basically in your program. You don't need to install any other plugins, and it's, again, coming back to the UI, you have everything accessible in your program. You don't need to install anything. So like denoising and other things like that are in DaVinci Resolve, but they aren't in Premiere Pro, and They can work in Premiere Pro, but you need extra plugins and you need to pay for those plugins usually if you want a high quality plugins. And in DaVinci Resolve, I'm not sure if maybe those plugins work better, but I found that the functions of DaVinci Resolve do a very good job for when I need to denoise something, or when I want to add grain to a footage, or any other things that I can't think about now, but I know that they weren't there in Premiere Pro, but they are here in DaVinci Resolve when I am editing my videos. Another thing is one of the big ones for me, because I was doing that for a while, that I was editing my videos in Premiere Pro and then color grading in DaVinci Resolve, because I started to dabble a little bit with color grading in DaVinci Resolve and I just fell in love with it. I love it. I spent hours on editing or color grading things in DaVinci Resolve and try to get better and better at it. And I love how much tools we have in DaVinci Resolve for color grading. It's something that made me switch, because I was doing editing in Premiere Pro and I had to transfer that edited project into DaVinci Resolve, and that takes a lot of time and effort, and you need to figure out how to do it the best way. And I was wasting a lot of time, like, you know, time is money, and I didn't want to waste that time. I wanted to just basically go in, do my edit, do my color grading, export, deliver, check, bank, and another project I can do. And that's why I switched to DaVinci Resolve, because I just fell in love with color grading in DaVinci Resolve, and I started editing a little bit in DaVinci Resolve too, and I was like, why do I need Premiere Pro that is crashing on me, and that I need to transfer and waste time my project from Premiere Pro to DaVinci Resolve? And all the tools are really good in DaVinci Resolve for color grading, and it's almost like a standard in the industry for color grading for so many years, and now they're developing the editing tools and that kind of stuff, and I think that is gonna make this product even better and much more popular. And you know, they even color grade Hollywood films on DaVinci Resolve, so there must be something in there. And also there is one thing that I've noticed, that if you work with colors in Premiere Pro and DaVinci Resolve and you do pretty much the same corrections and color grading, the image exported from DaVinci Resolve looks just so much better to me. Maybe I don't know, maybe I'm just over exaggerating, but I feel like the DaVinci Resolve software is just much better at processing the colors. And I've especially noticed that with the 8-bit footage, with a lot of banding on the Premiere Pro and none of the banding in the DaVinci Resolve. So that was like, I was like, wow, what a difference. Like on the Premiere Pro with the same settings pretty much, I had a lot of banding on the footage and that kind of stuff, and on the DaVinci Resolve I didn't have that. So I feel like the processing of colors, of the footage, of everything in DaVinci Resolve is just much better. I'm not sure, I don't have any papers or any thing like that to convince you that it is like that, but that's my feeling, that it is like this. It just like, it looks like this to me. It feels like it's just much nicer than what I can get from Premiere Pro. It just feels like I can get much nicer image from DaVinci Resolve than from Premiere Pro. In DaVinci Resolve we also get Fusion and Fairlight, which are like After Effects and Audition in Creative Cloud. But in Creative Cloud we have separate products, and in DaVinci Resolve we have that built into the DaVinci Resolve Studio or DaVinci Resolve Free. And basically Fusion is for animated graphics and that kind of things, and Fairlight is for audio. And I like the fact that they are very versatile tools for those purposes, and that you get it for free with your DaVinci Resolve. Whereas if you only get the Adobe Premiere Pro and not the Adobe Creative Cloud, you don't get the access to the After Effects or the Audition. And you can do a lot of things with the Fairlight, and you can do a lot of things with the Fusion. I'm not very comfortable with Fusion yet, but I will be getting a course in it, and I'm sure after that I'm gonna try to do a few video tutorials for you guys too, so you can find out how to use it and learn with me. But yeah, I feel like it's just a nice bonus to have that added on to the everything else that I've been talking about, that you can get that tools for free with your program. And what I like the most is the fact that you can get this dedicated panels for the DaVinci Resolve. That's the speed editor that I've mentioned before, and I love that you can get that, and it works perfectly fine with DaVinci Resolve because it is from Blackmagic, same as the DaVinci Resolve. And you can get the panels for color grading, you can get the panels for audio for Fairlight, you can get all the other panels. And I love the fact that it's an ecosystem and they're gonna be working perfectly fine with the software they are made for. I don't know about anything like that for the Premiere Pro. There's probably third-party tools like this for Premiere Pro, but they are not the same as the tool made by Blackmagic for Blackmagic, you know. It's just gonna be working much better in my opinion. And I love the fact that you can just basically go to the website of Blackmagic if you're working on DaVinci Resolve and you know that you can order that speed editor, you can go get the color panel and maybe Fairlight panel, and you can plug it and play, and you can just basically work on it, and you know it's gonna work. You don't need to do any of the like different setups and that kind of stuff. You just plug and play and it works. And in my opinion, it's an advantage, but for some it might be a disadvantage, because you're gonna think that it will only work with the DaVinci Resolve, and if you wanna use it with, for example, Premiere Pro or Final Cut or Avid or something else, it won't work. But in my opinion, I like the fact that it's straight for the Blackmagic DaVinci Resolve and not for all the other ones, because I'm sure it's gonna be working much better than the ones you need to set up to match the program you want to work in. And that was all the things that I find as advantage for the DaVinci Resolve over the Premiere Pro. But obviously there must be some things that are worse. And first one is obviously the fact that there's way less tutorials about DaVinci Resolve. You can find way less things about DaVinci Resolve because it's just not as popular as Adobe Premiere Pro. But I feel like for me it's a little bit of an advantage because I can do tutorials on it and you can guys watch it. So a bit of an advantage for me here. But to be honest, like, I wish there was as many tutorials for DaVinci Resolve as there is for the Adobe Premiere Pro. And more than that, I wish there was more of the templates for the DaVinci Resolve, because if you go to website like Envato Elements and you wanna download some of the templates, there's a lot of templates for After Effects, there's a lot of templates for Final Cut, for Premiere Pro, but not as many for the DaVinci Resolve. But I'm thinking it's gonna be slowly getting there, because I think it's getting a little bit more and a little bit more popular with every version that comes out. I think there is a little bit of a push right now in popularity of DaVinci Resolve. So many people try to make their packages of templates also for DaVinci Resolve. Again, it might be a good market to get into, to make some templates and sell them if you want to get into a niche that isn't that popular yet. So it might be advantage, it might be a disadvantage too, you know, it depends how you look at it. And other than that, there's also obviously less people working on DaVinci Resolve. So if you're gonna want to hire an editor, you're more likely to find somebody good in Premiere Pro or Final Cut or even Avid. I think DaVinci Resolve isn't as popular yet, but I think it's getting there. I think more and more people are jumping on it and try to learn it and try to develop their skills. And in my opinion, if you know one software, for example Premiere Pro or Final Cut, you're gonna be able to edit the videos, nice videos, in any of good programs. As long as you are a good editor, you probably gonna just need to adjust a little bit to the program and you're gonna be good to go. I think this is pretty much everything that I had to say. I said quite a lot. My lights just died. I think I was talking for a long time. So if you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so you don't miss any of the future content. I would also love if you check out my Instagram. I try to post there daily Instagram stories, reels, photos, just having fun with photography, filmmaking, and just try to post nice content for you guys. So I would love if you check it out. I think this is it. I hope you liked it and I hope I will see you in the next one. Bye.